think a lot of developers are quietly panicking right now. I'm for sure, to be honest. Not publicly, maybe not in the meetings, but in the background. There is this constant feeling. Am I falling behind with AI? Because there is new AI tools every week, new announcements, new frameworks, new claims like developers are 10 times faster now. And dude, I didn't have to touch code in 4 months. Agents are awesome, just need to have proper specs. You know what I'm talking about. And if you are working a full-time job, maybe you have a family, maybe you are just trying to survive your sprint, you are not keeping up. I am not keeping up. And I experiment with latest stuff a lot, but it's still mostly pet projects, side projects, not the real messy production. And the weird part is, it doesn't even feel like you can keep up anymore. So I want to talk today about that feeling because I think it might be a trap. Let me describe something that probably feels familiar. You open LinkedIn or Twitter, sorry, I meant X, and whatever you use. And you see, I built this SaaS with AI in weekend. 80% of my code is AI generated. I haven't felt the urge to check AI generated code in months. Here's the new Claude prompt structure that you must learn in 2026. And it looks impressive. Clean UI, working demo, confident tone. Notice how especially people without technical background can sound really confident, by the way. And then you look at your day. You are fixing a bug in system you didn't write. You are sitting in a meeting that could have been email or Slack message, and you are trying to understand why something broke again, or worse, why something is working when it shouldn't. No shiny demo, no viral post, just real grounded work. And without even noticing it, your brain starts doing something a little bit dangerous. You start comparing your slow, messy, constrained reality to someone else highlight reel. And of course, you feel behind. Anyone would. I had this moment recently, actually, several. My reality is complicated when it comes to AI. I can't fully experiment on production code. There are constraints. And I saw a lot of posts, like someone building something in 2 days. And this dude that is claiming that if you are not already using swarm of agents to code while you sleep, you are basically done in this industry. And my first reaction wasn't just curiosity. It was that bad feeling, wait, am I really outdated? That thought hit fast, and it wasn't even rational, but it was there and I was feeling it. And I realized this isn't about tools anymore. This is psychological. So here's my take on all the AI hype and clash with my reality. And tell me how you feel about this in the comments, because I see it around me on both sides of extreme all the time. I think the system is designed to make you feel behind. Not intentionally, but structurally. Social networks, their algorithms don't reward stability. They reward novelty. They don't show you, hey, this system has been running reliably for 3 years. They show you maybe something like, look what I built in 48 hours. Because that's what spreads, that's what's interesting, that's what people click, right? And may I made this way stronger, because now building something that looks impressive is cheap, incredibly cheap. You can prototype fast, generate code fast, ship something visual fast. So we get an explosion of, look what I built. But we don't see, here's what I maintained, here's what survived production, here's what didn't break at 3 a.m. So the feed gets distorted. And here's the key shift. We are not comparing ourselves to other developers anymore. And even that is not a great idea, to be honest. We are comparing ourselves to content about development. And that content is optimized to look better than reality, always. And this isn't just a feeling, there's a real gap here. In engineering, people talk about the difference between a prototype and a production system. A prototype proves something works. Production system has to keep working. Under load, with users, with failures, with edge cases, with attacks, security, monitoring, scaling, all the boring stuff that you know. So here's the key part. AI made it incredibly easy to build prototypes. But turning that into something real still takes time, still takes discipline. And a lot of AI projects, they never get there. They stay experiments, demos, ideas, prove me wrong. And I would be happy to learn about some serious experience if you have some. Let's connect, leave me a comment. But I still think that majority of buzz is this recurring pattern engineers describe. The demo looks perfect, but underneath there is nothing you can actually ship. So when I say some of the loudest voices about AI in development aren't shipping real products, I don't mean they are lying. I mean they are playing a different game. They are building demos, experiments, prototypes, personal tools, simple automations even, and those are valuable. But they are not the same as running software that real users depend on every day. They are not the same as running the software with compliance requirements. And that difference matters because there is a huge difference between something that works, right? And something that keeps working. Something you can show and something you have to support long term. Something that looks good in a video and something that survives production for a year or 10. And most of what you see online, again, prove me wrong, but I think it's the first category, not the second. And here's where it gets deeper. This isn't just about tools. I think it's about identity. For a long time, being a good developer meant you understand the problem, you write code, you know syntax, you solve problems directly. That was your value. But now, AI writes code faster than you, sometimes cleaner than you. So if your identity is, I just write code, then yeah, this shift feels threatening to me as well. But in real systems, in real teams, writing code was never the hardest part of the job. The hardest part is understanding the problem, making the right trade-offs, keeping things stable over time, working with constraints, and making sure things don't break. And AI helps with the code, but it doesn't replace responsibility. It doesn't own the outcome. You do. So maybe the goal was never to keep up with everything, because that's impossible now, right? Maybe the real skill is something else. Filtering. And I keep saying this to myself. Choosing what not to care about, staying grounded in real work, because depth beats constant novelty every time. We see it over and over. So if you are working on a real product with real users, with constraints, you are not behind. You are just playing a harder game, a slower game, more valuable game. Here is my take on this. The developers who win this shift won't be the ones who tried everything everywhere. They will be the ones who understood what actually matters and ignored the rest. We all have time constraints, full-time job, family. So if you feel behind right now, you are not broken. You are not too late. You are just being exposed to more noise than ever before. And maybe the real skill now is learning what not to chase, experimenting, learning, but also using a common sense that carried you through years of career so far. If this resonated with you, I'd actually be curious. What's the last thing that made you feel behind? Because I have a feeling it's not just you. Thanks for watching and let me know. See you with the next one.